Hey there, future Neb Nerd. Welcome back. It's Clint Wyckoff here, and thanks for joining me in this module. Today, we're going to discuss the installation, cabling, and networking components required for cloud-defined storage. As discussed in the previous module, cloud-defined storage separates the control and data plane. The control plane runs in the cloud, while the data plane runs on-premises within your application servers. The on-prem application-based data plane is delivered in the form of a scale-out enterprise IoT endpoint, which we call a services processing unit, otherwise known as SPU for short. Groups of SPU-equipped servers are clustered together and they form an MPod. Now, at the time of server purchase, your application servers are equipped with their SPUs. We're going to pick things up from here. Your servers have already been ordered, shipped, and they're installed in their rack. The SPU itself is a full-height, full-length PCIe 3 card which performs all storage operations. The SPU is equipped with a 3 GHz 8-core ARM processor, and this performs all of your storage operations. This is, for example, including compression, deduplication, erasure coding, and encryption, all done in a scale-out fashion. The more servers in the NPod, the more possible performance delivered to your applications. Now, this means that the servers, operating systems, virtual machines, container pods, they all have access to all the server and CPU resources within the application server. The SPU connects to physical drives via the server backplane or riser card. This is dependent upon the actual server configuration. Each server is equipped with dedicated data network interfaces and a separate control interface which need to be cabled up. Let's draw this out. In a Nebulon-powered environment, each application server is equipped with a services processing unit, aka SPU as we mentioned. Each SPU contains a standard RJ45 1 gig network interface which is used to communicate with Nebulon On, the brains of cloud-defined storage. This interface will require an outbound TCP connection over port 443 to on.nebulon.com. The SPU's control interface supports static IP address assignment or dynamic. For a full list of all IP addresses which will resolve, visit our Nebulon.com product documentation section. SPUs are also equipped with dual 10 or 25 gig data interfaces. Customers should utilize passive direct attach cables, otherwise known as DAC. These interfaces are used for intra-pod communication and storage data transmission. Let's examine this further. Here I have a server equipped with a Nebulon SPU. The control interface is cabled to a 1 gig network interface on my top of rack switch. For redundancy purposes, it is recommended to cable the data interfaces to separate top of rack switches, and if possible, you should utilize Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP for short. You may know this as 802.3 AD. In the event of link failure, LACP allows for seamless failover and also aggregated bandwidth. Now, Nebulon supports both a 2-switch or a 4-switch configuration, and this ultimately is a customer design consideration. It's dependent upon cost, rack space, and administrative overhead. A few quick items to note specific to the control and data interfaces. The control network ports on the switch should be configured in access mode. The control interface supports both DHCP or static IP address assignment. If you'd like to configure the control interface with static IP address assignment, you would utilize the server UEFI. Firewalls will require TCP 443 outbound to on.nebulon.com. Specific to the data interfaces, they must be configured as access ports as well. For the 10 or 25 gig ports, you will want to acquire passive SFP cables, which will get routed to your top of rack switch. If your switch vendor or operating system on your switch supports LACP, this is the recommended approach. Lastly, whenever you're configuring an MPod, you may set the data interface IP addresses as either static or dynamic as well. And this is done during the NPod creation. Before we hop over to statically assigning the control IP via the UEFI, it's definitely important to note that all Nebulon network traffic is isolated from the actual host networking. So let's quickly hop over to our application server while it's booting up and enter the UEFI. It is here within the UEFI that there is a subsection called Nebulon Configuration. And this is here where we're able to quickly see our connectivity status to on.nebulon.com, the cloud, as well as designate the IP address assignment via either static or dynamic address allocation. Lastly, if your organization requires your traffic to route through a proxy, you may configure it here as well. As we wrap things up, each Nebulon powered server requires a services processing unit, otherwise known as an SPU. Whenever you cluster together many SPUs, they form an MPod. Connectivity to Nebulon On is achieved through the 1 gig control interface, which each SPU is equipped with. And lastly, all of your data traffic is isolated and contained on premises, and this traffic traverses the dual data interfaces. If you need to take a quick break or a coffee, now is a great time. Otherwise, feel free to join in on the community conversation over at slack.nebulon.com. We'll see you in the next module.